Now at midday.
Kirk's Law, I-Steps elimination, and new rules about the scourge of meth. Indiana's governor signing several high-profile bills into law. A northern Indiana school district will test for lead in the drinking water. This in the wake of the lead crisis in Flint. President Obama today wraps up his historic trip to Cuba. And voters right now going to the polls in another round of presidential primary voting.
First, fast, accurate. You're watching WSBT 22 News at midday.
We are continuing to follow breaking news out of Europe. Another deadly terror attack, this time in Brussels. We learned within the past half hour, ISIS is now claiming responsibility for this morning's attacks. The terrorists hit the Brussels International Airport and the subway system during the busy morning commute. At least 36 people are dead. More than 200 others are hurt following two explosions that rocked the airport and a separate blast at a nearby train station. The attacks coming just days after police arrested a prime suspect in the November terror attacks. We'll get the very latest from London and Tina Kraus. Tina, what's going on?
Armed police are on high alert across Brussels, and Belgium's foreign minister is warning authorities fear more suspected terrorists may be on the run in the city. Survivors ran for safety as smoke and chaos filled the airport terminal in Brussels. Dozens are injured after two powerful explosions. One blast caved in a ceiling on stunned travelers and blew out the terminal's windows. CBS News has learned police found an unexploded device, possibly a suicide vest, and a Kalashnikov Russian assault rifle. This woman was with her daughter, who's now missing.
My husband called the American embassy, and they're looking for her, too.
3 missionaries from Utah were seriously injured in the airport blasts. Less than a half hour later, an explosion ripped through a subway station during the morning rush hour near the U.S. Embassy in Brussels. More than a dozen people were killed and more than 100 injured. Some passengers had to find their way out through dark tunnels. Belgium's prime minister says what we feared has happened. President Obama called him from Cuba this morning.
The thoughts and the prayers of the American people are with the people of Belgium, and we stand in solidarity with them.
The attacks come just days after the arrest of Salah Abdeslam, the prime suspect in the Paris terror attacks last November.
They were probably concerned that he was going to talk to authorities, and they moved this up.
Police have now shut down Brussels' entire transport system, diverting all planes and trains away from the Belgian capital, and authorities are urging people to stay home. Here in London, British Prime Minister David Cameron called the attacks appalling. He vowed, quote, "We will never let these terrorists win." Live in London, Tina Kraus, CBS News.
Tina, thank you. Now, following these attacks, authorities here in the United States are stepping up security measures at transit hubs all across the country. Officers patrolling airports and subway systems very closely in New York, Washington, D.C. as well. Security forces also keeping a close eye on train stations. Police dogs looking through Amtrak passengers' bags at Washington's Union Station and New York's Penn Station. Police say officers in New York and Washington say they are ready to fight terror in any way. Now in Chicago, the police interim superintendent has ordered stepped-up patrols at airports, CTA, and metro stops within the city. All O'Hare flights to and from Brussels canceled today, at least today. Amtrak also has extra security. Police say there is no specific threat to the city, however. The additional security is only a precaution due to today's events. Stay with WSBT 22 as we continue to learn more details about the terror in Brussels. We're continuing to update our WSBT 22 mobile app with the very latest up-to-the-second information. We'll also have updates starting on First at 4.
Well, we started out a little bit warmer today, but we've had a lot of clouds. Even with the clouds today, I think you'll like the temperatures. Take a look outside. This is our first alert weather cam in Elkhart. We've certainly seen some peaks of sunshine. It hasn't been completely cloudy, and you will see peaks during the afternoon, but I can tell you that temperatures are just going to continue to go up. We're at 48 right now in South Bend, 50 in Elkhart. We have 54 in Goshen and 52 in Warsaw. We'll end up close to 60 degrees later this afternoon. Those winds out of the southwest, pretty breezy. Notice in Elkhart, the wind speeds have already gone up to 21 miles an hour. They will continue to be strong. We're not looking at an advisory for those winds, but we are looking at that strong southerly wind and southwesterly wind to keep our temperatures pretty warm today. We'll be in the mid-50s if you're not there already by 3, and then we'll top out close to 60 degrees. We are tracking some showers, And it's not just rain. We also have to talk about some snow showers. I'll let you know when we'll see some of those, or at least come close to them, in just a few minutes.
Carrie, thanks very much. Happening right now, the fire marshal is on the scene of a deadly fire from yesterday in St. Joseph. We are also now hearing of possible conflicting reports of exactly what happened, leading to the death of a homeowner. St. Joe Township Police are now saying they were the first on the scene, and they say they cannot confirm Anthony Loretta went back inside this burning home to save his animals. That was the original report. We do know firefighters found Loretta dead inside the home. His autopsy is happening today. All of the animals in the home died as well. Police say the man's wife and daughter were out of town. This home is a total loss. WSBT 22's Danielle Kennedy is at the scene right now. She'll have the very latest updates starting WSBT 22 News at 5. New at midday, funeral arrangements now set for a fallen Howard County Sheriff's deputy. The funeral for Carl Kuntz is going to be next week at a high school where he was assigned part-time for the past 2 years. The visitation set for Monday, the funeral Tuesday. Both will be held at Northwestern High School near Kokomo. Take a look at this. Officers from across the state of Indiana helping to bring Kuntz's body from Indianapolis back to his hometown. Kuntz was killed Sunday morning serving a warrant. Now officers from our area and around the state are helping the Howard County Sheriff's Department make sure all their shifts are covered during this difficult time.
So especially since in this most recent incident, it's a county officer who was killed, it's a little bit special for us as another county agency to be able to support them any way we can in this time.
Another deputy was also shot but did survive. He was released from the hospital yesterday afternoon. This is just into our newsroom. Say goodbye to iStep. Governor Mike Pence just signed the bill repealing the standardized test. He signed it just an hour ago at an elementary school near Indianapolis. This means iStep will be eliminated by July of next year. A panel of educators and experts will study and make some recommendations about what will eventually replace iStep. A bill inspired by the death of a local toddler also has just been signed into law. It is now called Kirk's Law. The law sets up a child abuse registry in the state. Prosecutors say Kirk Coleman died at the hands of his Elkhart County daycare provider who had been previously charged with child abuse. The toddler's family didn't know about her past. This new law will create a database parents can use to check the criminal records of child care providers. Now, several bills to help prevent drug abuse in Indiana also now signed into law, one allowing pharmacists to deny the sale of certain drugs that can be used to make methamphetamines. Governor Mike Pence says it's part of a statewide effort to stop meth abuse. There's some controversy with this new law, though. That's because it would allow pharmacists to require some patients to have a prescription for drugs with pseudoephedrine. That's a common ingredient in a lot of decongestants. While police say that does have some impact, it is not clear if this will stem the problem or make it harder for people to get that medicine.
It does have an impact in terms of meth lab seizures. What's less clear is, does it have an impact on meth abuse, on the amount of meth that makes its way into your state? So that's one of the questions that we still haven't been able to answer.
This law does have the support of the Indiana Pharmacists Alliance. That group will be helping law enforcement figure out exactly how this law will be enforced. It goes into effect in July. Right place at the right time on this one. That's what helped a volunteer firefighter save a couple from their burning home. Rochester firefighter Justin Melton and his friend Joe spotted smoke coming out of this home on 11th Street Saturday. They were then able to get inside and rescue a 90-year-old couple before the smoke and the flames became too dangerous. Neither one of these men had fire protective gear. Fire officials don't know how this fire started. We're told it started in the garage behind this home. An Indiana town less than 2 hours away from South Bend plans to test its water for lead this summer. Rensselaer is just southwest of our area. This is the second round of testing for that city. 2 years ago, it found elevated levels of heavy metal in its water supply. The city operations coordinator thinks that drinking water is safe. If you live in Goshen, a boil order could impact you tonight. It's happening in the 1700 block of Eisenhower Drive north to Deerdorf Road. Crews will be shutting down the water main overnight for an extension. The boil order starts at 6 tonight. It's expected to continue until 5 tomorrow morning. Presidential candidates looking to pick up more steam today. 3 states heading to the polls right now. Your campaign 2016 update is ahead.
And it's still going to be a really warm afternoon, but we have to start to track some rain and snow, both in the forecast. I'll show you those coming up next.
Now, your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
Our first alert weather cam in South Bend. Looking to the west, you can see lots of clouds today. We're still looking at some peaks of sun, but mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures this afternoon are still going to be very pleasant. We're right around the 50-degree mark now. We'll still warm up around 60 degrees later this afternoon, but we have to start tracking at least some chances of rain in here. I'll show you that coming up. 52 in South Bend. You can see the mid-50s in Lafayette, in Indianapolis area, even 51 in Grand Rapids. But look at these temperatures. These are high temperatures even for tomorrow. We still get back up close to 60 degrees. Temperatures in Kansas City near 80 degrees. Now, we are not talking that type of heat, but this is a pretty big storm system with some impressive numbers as far as heat, but also look on the other side. Temperatures only in the 30s, just above freezing in Green Bay. And right where that color starts to change from the green to the blue, that's where we see a boundary, and that boundary is going to be the dividing line. First of all, between the rain showers and the snow showers, but also those warmer temperatures and the cooler ones. Northern Michigan has had snow and off and on some rain showers this morning. You can see these green areas right over Lake Michigan. We have just a slight chance of a shower this afternoon. It's not going to be enough water to really cause any major issues, but I wouldn't be surprised if you run into a couple of sprinkles between now and dinner time. But look at the wider picture. You can really draw a line all the way from New York State with those snow showers, all the way through northern Michigan and all the way into Canada. That line is the boundary that we're watching, and that boundary is going to become very important over the next 24 hours because along it, we will see rain showers, and north of it, we're going to see snow showers. If you're not crazy about seeing more snow showers, the good news is that boundary mostly stays to our north. So we will see rain showers during the day tomorrow. Tomorrow will be pretty soggy. You'll want your umbrella. But it looks like Grand Rapids and on to the north, that's where we'll get the more accumulating snow showers. They already have a winter storm watch in effect. That is for tomorrow and into Thursday for about 6 inches of snow. Futurecast here. This is lunchtime today. No big issues there. We go through the evening hours and we don't see any major rain, but we do see more coverage of rain by the time you get up tomorrow morning. Then you can see those snow showers in Wisconsin and into northern Michigan. That's during the day on Wednesday, and that's where they'll start to see some more of that accumulation. It's right about where you see these counties highlighted in blue. That is where the winter storm watch is in place. So if you're traveling north over the next 2 days, you'll have to take snow gear. If you're just staying around here, looks like you'll just need the umbrella. So today, 58 degrees for the high to about 60. Depends on your spot. Partly to mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, overnight, we stay warmer. We stay in the 40s. We do have chances of rain, but later this afternoon and into tonight, it's very scattered showers. It's nothing widespread or heavy rain. Heavier rain showers will develop during the day tomorrow. It will stay windy. Temperatures on Thursday. This is deceiving because that's a morning temperature. Temperatures will fall. By the time when you get up on Thursday, it will be near 50. By the time you get home from work or school, we're talking in the 30s. And then a cooler day for Friday. Over the weekend, especially on Easter Sunday, we are tracking some chances of rain. At this point, it's not a washout, but it's enough that it may affect your day a couple different times on Sunday. We'll track that, and hopefully it kind of tracks out of our area.
All right. Carrie, thanks very much. Feel better?
Thanks.
All right.
I know, I have a frog.
Yeah, that's okay.
A spring frog.
Yes, you do. You may have heard it this morning, tornado sirens sounding off. You can expect to hear them again this evening around 7:30. There is no reason to be alarmed. It's all part of the statewide drills so you can practice weather safety plans. While the sirens were going off as part of the drill, having a family preparedness plan is important as well. Now, it's a good thing to have a weather radio with backup batteries. It's also a very good thing to have a weather app on your phone. You should also have a disaster and first aid kit with a 3-day supply of food and water. And of course, we highly recommend the WSBT 22 app. Coming up, we are updating some breaking news we've been following all morning long. Terror attacks in Brussels, the very latest on this tragedy coming up next.
First to cover breaking news with Bob Montgomery, your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Carrie Peugeot. You're watching WSBT 22 News at midday.
We are continuing to keep our eye on the breaking news we told you about at the top of the hour. We just learned the Brussels airport will remain closed through Wednesday, and now ISIS is claiming responsibility for the deadly coordinated attacks this morning. At least 36 people were killed. Nearly 200 others were hurt. Twin explosions going off at the Brussels airport about 3 Eastern time. Another attack at a subway station not long after. It's close to the European Union headquarters. The attacks coming just days after a top suspect in the Paris attacks from last November arrested in Brussels. Hundreds of flights to Brussels have been diverted or canceled outright. The Brussels airport has been shut down again. Security very tight all across Europe. We are continuing to watch this developing story. We will have much more on our WSBT 22 mobile app. Another big day on the campaign trail. Voters in Idaho, Arizona, and Utah now deciding who should receive the Republican and Democratic presidential nominations. Frontrunners Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump looking to extend their delegate leads. The big prize today, the winner-take-all state of Arizona. In all, more than 200 delegates are up for grabs today. Happening right now, President Obama's wrapping up his historic trip to Cuba. He's heading to Argentina later today. This morning, he delivered a major address to the Cuban people. The president also meeting with civil rights leaders right now. This afternoon, the Obama family will attend a baseball game between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Cuban national team. Yesterday, the president met with Raul Castro and pressed him to improve human rights in Cuba. Our check on Wall Street this midday finds the Dow is down 34 points, 17,589. The Nasdaq unchanged at 4811. We have some sun, some clouds today, a warm day, but there's a change coming. Carrie tells us when coming up.
This year, make sure you leave room at your holiday table for a Southern classic that's downright welcoming.
Here's today's recipe from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen on WSBT 22 News at midday.
As you start to plan your menu for Easter, you're probably noticing that this year's menu is sounding pretty much the same as last year and the one before. Now, I'm big on keeping traditions going. After all, what's Easter without Aunt Mary's potatoes? But this year, we thought it'd be a good idea to sneak in a new dish right into the mix. It's a Southern classic that's very welcome. We start off by adding some pineapple gelatin mix to a saucepan. And when I say mix, I mean the dry powder right out of the box. Now, to that, we add some sugar, cornstarch, and a bit of water. And we'll let that cook until it thickens up. Once it does, we add in some pineapple tidbits that we've drained, along with a good amount of shredded cheddar cheese. After giving this a quick stir, we pour it into a casserole dish and finish it off with a buttery crumb topping before popping it into the oven. You see, as it bakes, the pineapple cheese mixture gets bubbly delicious, and our cracker topping gets all crispy. And when you serve this with your Easter ham or any of your holiday classics, don't be surprised when everyone asks for seconds. So right after the news, why don't you go online and get the recipe for our perfect pineapple casserole so you can add it to this year's holiday lineup. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a comforting way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
So just a couple of days of relative warmth.
Before. Yeah, but
Yeah.
at least we're not going to be talking about 6 inches of snow in the forecast.
True.
Our friends in Grand Rapids and North, they will be talking about that tonight and tomorrow. And into Thursday, we're looking at a little bit of rain here on our radar. The satellite and radar shows a lot more clouds. We'll see some peaks of sun this afternoon and an occasional rain shower, but most of the rain is in the forecast tomorrow and into Thursday. Thursday's temperatures will be dropping. So we start out near 50, we end near 30 degrees, and then a cool day on Friday and Good Friday. Easter Sunday, we're still tracking at least a chance for rain.
All right, Carrie, thanks very much. Don't forget, stay up to date with the very latest out of Brussels with our WSBT 22 News app. We'll also have the latest on air first at 4.